Painting. The Art of Not Giving a Fuck with Garrett Dawn.
I don't give a fuck.
Are you sure?
I just don't give a fuck.
Presenting. The Art of Not Giving a Fuck with Garrett Dawn.
All right, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Art of Not Giving a Fuck Victim to Adventurer podcast. And today we've got Teresa Misty Mozejko, and please correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
No, that was perfect.
From now forth, we'll go forward with Misty. So welcome to the show, Misty. Thank you very much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
And the way that I got in touch with Misty was just through Ben Settle's podcast, and she's been sending out some excellent emails every day for advertising for that show, telling great stories, and even selling some really useful products. So I wanted to have you on, Misty, and tell some of those stories because they seemed really inspiring. So
Thank you.
I guess an obvious place to start would be your own process. So right now you're running 10,000strong.com, and we'll get into that. I'll have you tell us how that came about and what that dream is of yours. But first I wanted to get into something personal. So where, on your other website for tmtraining.ca, you say, if you would have told Misty 5 years ago she was going to become a weight loss and wellness expert, she would have choked on her chocolate bar. So tell us about that. So just dive right in. Where were you at? Where was your head at 5 years ago? What was going on with you?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's actually probably been a bit longer now. I should probably update that now. But yeah, I would say about 9 years ago, and all the years leading up to that, I was considered morbidly obese. So the doctors, I'd go to the doctors, and they'd be like, "Okay, you got to lose some weight. If you don't lose weight, you're going to run into all these heart issues and diabetes and all these kind of things." But I wasn't mentally ready, and I wasn't really in a place to lose weight at that time. So I just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger until I topped out at 305 pounds, and I was miserable. I was very miserable and very embarrassed and very disgusted. And I was out with some friends, and we were at a bar, and I tried to sit down in one of the chairs at the bar, and it had handles on the side. It was a bit like sort of a chair with that you have on a deck, like an outdoor chair, and there was handles, and I couldn't fit my ass and my hips into this chair because it was too big. And I was like, I was mortified, right? If I had tried to jam my butt into that chair, it would have literally stuck to my hips when I stood up. Like that's how bad. So I didn't try. I just stood for the rest of the evening, and everyone was like, "Oh, come and sit down." And I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm just going to stand over here. I'm fine." And that was a big wake up call. And I just thought, you know what? Something has to change. And so I started working out with some friends, and the rest is history, as they say.
Oh, there's got to be some more in there. That had to be a crazy mental journey for you. I mean, that must have been just the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure that was building up for a long time. No?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been the big girl. I've always been the girl with the pretty face, but the big body. And people used to say that to me all the time. They'd say, "Oh, you have such a pretty face," and then they would stop talking. And I knew, and I always had sort of a big personality. I could laugh it off, lots of jokes, and I don't care what size I am type thing. But underneath, it was very difficult. And luckily, I met a great group of people, and they persuaded me, or basically strong-armed me into coming to a boot camp that was a local boot camp in a park. And I started doing that. Yeah, that's really where I started, and that's kind of the whole circle of life, as it were. And that's why I own the companies that I do today, was because I was forced against my will into this horrible boot camp,
Wow. So what was that like inside your mind? I mean, how did it, because I know that it's not just show up, start working out, and everything's okay. I mean, that's a massive shift from your whole psychology about who you are. I mean, how you even define and think of yourself was completely based on well, now a different character than you are now. I mean, physically different, but almost, your whole attitude, I'm sure.
It was very depressing. It was very humbling because I'm 6 feet anyway, as it is, right? So, people consider me to be a dominant, strong individual, and maybe outwardly I look like that, but it was that the boot camps were just awful. I couldn't keep up with everyone. They were all off in the distance doing, and I was like, gasping for air and trying to keep up with them. So there was definitely just a hard dose of discipline to make me keep going. And I think I was too scared to not go. I think I thought, oh God, if I keep going like this, if I keep, eating and not working out, I'm just going to be 700 pounds. And, so it was, I think fear kept me going, not actual motivation to work out, just plain fear.
Sure. Yeah, that can be a great motivator, I suppose. And and I think a lot of guys listening can relate, not necessarily to being under the physical weight, but the weight of any kind of that hiding out. It sounded like that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe there was a sense of hiding out inside, underneath all the weight. Like you said, there was the outside personality, and then there was the inside depression.
Oh yeah, I hid behind a facade of jokes, and I can tell some mean jokes, and I've got a very quick-witted sense of humor, and that gets you a long way. And no one needs to know the real you if you can hide behind all that. So there's definitely two sides to every story, that's for sure.
Yeah. So so you start doing the working out, you start changing your diet, I'd imagine. I noticed that you also became a nutritionist, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. Yeah.
So because obviously that becomes an important part of things. How did it feel for the real you, so to speak, to start coming out from under all this? When did that start to happen along the process? Because this must have taken, what, did it take 6 months, a year? How long did it take you to shed all the extra weight?
It took me 2.5. It took me 2.5 years, which is a painstakingly long battle. But I don't do anything by halves, and so it just had to be there. I actually didn't change anything internally for 9 months. It took me 9 months to even see one shift in weight, one shift. I just kept, driving away for 9 months. I figured at one point something has to give. Yeah. And about 9, it's got to give, come on. So 9 months in, things started to shift. I started to lose a little bit of weight, and things started looking up. And about 6 months after that, I told the bootcamp owner, I said, I'm going to become a fitness instructor, and if you want me to work for you, I will do that. And I was still 50 pounds overweight at this point. And she said, yeah, let's do it. And that was when it all started to come together. Now, the nutritionist portion came a little bit later because I found that while I was motivating people for working out, I didn't really know that much about nutrition. The 20 some odd years before that, I'd only taught me how to drink wine and eat wine. I had a lot of learning to do in that respect. So I went back to school.
Wow. So it ends up becoming a complete transformation from the sounds of it. So what were you doing before that then in terms of work or business?
Oh, I had a very exciting desk job, and I was the retail sales specialist for an automotive safety kit company.
Oh, wow.
It was great.
Sad.
That's what I did before, and I had my little desk, my little cubicle and the water cooler. It was great, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see the movie Office Space?
That was me. That was literally me.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just an amazing. Go ahead.
I was going to say it was at that job actually when I was sat there looking at my grey walls and my little rat maze of an office. I thought to myself, you know what? There is got to be more than this, and what is it that I want to do with life? Like, what do I want to do in my life? I can't do this forever. And a little voice just popped up and it said, you were born to help people. And it was basically from that point on that I had to figure out in what medium was I supposed to help people. And when I was 300 pounds, I did not think it was going to be personal training. But anyway, here we are, here we are today.
Oh, that's a perfect, it's a perfect depiction how once you start taking some kind of action, and like you said, for you, 9 months, I mean, That's just amazing. Just plugging away 9 months till you finally start to. And I'm sure there were things changing, but for you to actually bring it into conscious awareness, that's a great story, and that can be an inspiration to anybody that's wanting to shift things around. If you feel something inside you, yeah, that's great. So you knew you wanted to help people, but had no clue how that was gonna actually play out.
Yeah, no clue. I knew at that point I was really good. I loved to write, and I was at that point I was really terrible at proofreading now for whatever reason. But anyway, I used to proofread a lot of materials, so I knew I wanted to work with words. I wanted to write stuff, and it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I do it day in, day out. But that was definitely a huge part of it. The personal training part came a lot later on. I did not think at 300 pounds I would be helping people lose weight. That was definitely not in the picture. But life works in mysterious ways, right? So.
Yeah, that's just an amazing step, and how you had a hint of it ahead of time. So how was it that you start? Where did the confidence come from? I mean, where did because now, I mean, I'm getting emails from you for the Ben Settle Show, and these things are just filled with wit and confidence, and they're sharp and cutting, and all kinds of stuff, and ultimately inspiring. But I mean, to be the person behind that voice takes some balls, for lack of a better term. So where did this confidence come from? Where did this start to build up? And I suppose some of it's the weight coming off, but there's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah, I definitely think that in the past 4 or 5 years, the crotchety, as Ben calls it, the crotchety side of me has emerged. And I think it's, yes, the weight loss helped, but also building your and going through some of the financial hardships that you do when you build a business, that broadens your shoulders a massive amount. I got divorced. I'm a single mom. I've got three budding businesses, and this, you have to just step up. You can step up, or what is the choice going to be? And as soon as you make the choice to become a bigger person, this is where the confidence comes in. You've got two options, right? And that I think I just took the confident, ballsy, lady balls, as John likes to call it. But yeah, you got to have some guts if you're going to have your own business, I think. So. Yeah,
definitely. So, how did you end up? How did you end up doing these daily emails and doing the emails for the show? And now you're also running a pretty cool Facebook group. That I'm in as well. That one that's just been, I see tons of people getting a lot out of it, like accountability, creativity, inspiration. Just folks, it's really great just to log in and see what's going on in there. So how did that all come about? That's really interesting too, because you just kind of appeared on the scene, and it's been a delightful discovery.
Well, about a year ago, maybe not quite a year ago, Ben put a request out for a announcer babe for his podcast, and I decided that with absolutely no experience whatsoever, I was going to apply for this position, and so I did. He sent the script out, and I probably did that script close to 1,000 times in many different voices. It was just totally nerve-wracking, and I recorded like 15 different versions, some of them being bitchy and some of them being happy and whatever. And I sent that over to Ben, and I got chosen to be the announcer babe. And so I did the scripts, and that was kind of that, until a few months later, Ben then said, well, do you want to write the sales emails for the podcast list? And he'd been watching me, through Facebook and through his other Facebook group. He'd been watching my writing, and so he offered me this position, which I gladly took, and that was probably last November. And then we got onto the topic of Facebook groups, because I run a couple of them for the fitness industry, and it was just born out of a love of watching people succeed. I mean, I love to watch people succeed. That's kind of what gets me off. And so when we put these challenges on in the Facebook group, and I see the success, I want to do more. I want to offer more to that group. I want to have these people focusing on these little, short-term laser-focused list-building challenge, or the 30-day challenge, or, it makes me happy. So I'm glad to be offering it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for offering it too. It's definitely a boost, and I've been inspired by it, and I know other folks that are in there. It just looks like it's everybody's having a good time, and it seems really supportive, more supportive than
Yeah.
most things you see on Facebook.
Yes, and that's key for me. It has to be no drama, no, no big egos in there, just lots of support and lots of accountability.
Yeah, definitely, very fun. So now, is that how you? Tell me a little more about how you do your boot camps. So you're running these. Those are pretty interesting. I've seen folks at the parks, working out and doing some of those. It seems to have picked up some steam in the last few years. How do you do that, or how did that come about for you?
I mean, I've always had a studio, so I have a brick and mortar location just outside Toronto,
Okay.
and this is the second brick and mortar location I have. I want people to have a really good, consistent schedule. So we offer about 40 classes a week that people can come to anytime. And I have personal trainers run the sessions. I run the business, and together we're just like this one big sickening fitness family. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of motivation and inspiration that are in my boot camps. There, people are just so great. So we just they come to workouts. They get a nutritionist applied to them every month, and we just make people healthy and strong.
Oh, that's excellent. So you said 40 classes a week about are happening in there?
Yes.
That is
Yeah,
amazing.
about 4,000.
Yeah. So for folks listening, then think about it. You went from there was you sitting at a desk wondering if you'd ever lose the weight and getting this realization you want to help people someday. Now flash forward to now, there's 40 classes a week. You're writing all these emails, running really successful groups. And now your big project is this 10,000strong.com. You said, right? This
That's
is
right.
what sort of the
Yeah.
crystallization of the desire to help people. So talk more about that. How did this come about? And what's what's the passion behind this?
I have been running my personal training and bootcamp companies for approximately 10 years. So I've been doing this a while, and during that 10 years, I've had lots of coaching, and I've seen a lot of people come and go. And the one thing that really sticks out to me is the female entrepreneurs in the fitness industry, and how we have to run businesses, because I feel very strongly about this. As a female business entrepreneur, we have a lot on our plates. It's not a 50-50 balance in the home. The women usually take on more responsibilities with the kids, and getting the laundry done and doing the dishes. And I know that sounds really prehistoric, but it's true. We're doing a lot of the home life and the family life. And on top of that, we're trying to run these successful fitness businesses. So the coaching, the 10,000 Strong group coaching, is designed for only women who are, trying to run their households, but trying to also become a very successful fitness business and make lots of money doing it. I've had my family, I've been married, I've been divorced, I've moved forward as a single mom. And I think the story that I've been through is very relatable. And I just want to show women, you can do this. You can totally do this. Let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got the background to demonstrate it too. That's excellent. Yeah, it sounds like a really cool program. So you're gathering women in there and then helping them advance in their from different levels with their fitness professional businesses.
Yeah, we're working on their marketing. We're teaching them shortcuts and things and what not to do. All the stuff that I did wrong, I'll tell them, don't do that. It sucks. And the focus is to get everyone up to six figures and beyond with their fitness businesses. And the fitness industry is one of those shiny, objects where we all sort of say, yeah, we're totally making tons of money, but the overheads are huge in this industry. So what you make and what you take home are very different.
Yeah, I am sure. And then with your location, with equipment, employees, and marketing, everything, it's got to add up pretty fast to have that. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's very impressive.
Thank you.
So, are you originally from the Toronto area, or did you move there from somewhere else?
Yes, I actually decided when I was 18 years old, in all of my wisdom, that I was going to move to New York City by myself. And so I left England at 18, and I became a British nanny in New York. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I wasn't cut out for it, let me tell you. I think I only lasted 6 months, and then I moved actually to Cleveland, Ohio, the big lights of Cleveland.
Ooh.
And from Cleveland, I moved up to Toronto. So I've been around, as they say.
Well, I could understand the draw. I think anything north of the border might do a person a little better than Cleveland. Don't mean to put anyone down if they're living there now. I'm not saying that, but it just is cloudy so often.
Well, it's always England, so that wasn't a big deal.
Right.
But Cleveland was a great period of time for me, because I went back to school, and I became a really good student, and I got very, very far. I got lots of scholarships, and I did a lot of work for the community, and all this cool stuff happened in Cleveland.
Oh.
I didn't have much of a life outside of school, but it was a very focused time for me. So it really did help me become very disciplined with my learning and education.
Yeah, that sounds excellent. And it all led you up to where you are now, and that's great. So what was this? What with the nanny job? What any horror stories that you want to share about that? How did that play out? So you show up, you show up, and at that point there wasn't like, you weren't meeting people on Skype or anything to see who they were. So did you just show up sight unseen?
Yeah, I just showed up, and it was this big house in the sort of the suburbs. And God, it was just, there was no, first off, I'm 18 years old. There's no TV in the house. And that was like shocking to me. Like, who doesn't have a TV in their house? This is weird. But so as soon as I got some money together, the first thing I bought was a TV. But actually, I think I got paid $600 a week. The child was homeschooled by yours truly, with disaster. Oh. And I had the room. I was basically the size of a single bed and one bedside table. That was the size while I was there. So it was a very interesting learning curve, and it was very lonely because, as you said, there's not many chances to meet people, and I didn't last very long in that position.
So where did you go from there? That's when you went to Cleveland and did the school thing.
Yeah. I went. I met a guy. I met one of my ex-boyfriends in New York, and I actually moved to his home in Cleveland, and that's when I became a student, an honor student, with very good grades, because he was a great guy. He was very, very intelligent, so I felt I had to live up to some expectations. So I moved to Cleveland. I became really smart. And then about 3 years later, that kind of fizzled, and off I went to Toronto after another guy. If you really want to know, that was another man. That was my ex-husband.
Well, whatever it takes to get us moving. I've had my share of relationship journeys as well, and they're just as valid as any other purpose for moving yourself around the planet, as far as I can tell. So.
Yeah, I do. I'm a passionate person. I follow my heart, and I tend to make big, bold, scary decisions when they come around, and that's how I ended up moving around the world. And I think, and I mean, I've valued every single one of those relationships because they have brought me to where I am today.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, that's beautiful. So big, bold, scary decisions.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I can relate. And this one looks like there's no turning back. Yeah, okay. Let's go forward.
I want to do that one.
Yeah. Now, what was it we're doing again? Right? Yeah.
Well, what is it? I always say yes. I'll always say yes. It's like an opportunity comes along, I'll always say yes. And then, as Richard Branson says, you just got to figure it out along the way. And that's kind of my motto. You just have to say yes and see where it takes you.
That's excellent. So any words of advice for folks listening? Anybody that's trapped under their own 300 pounds of inertia and sitting at a desk wondering how they're going to bring that dream to life? What would you say to those folks?
I'd say that if you have a passion that is pulling at your heartstrings, or there's something yearning inside that has been bugging you every day for a long time, you have to get off your butt and do something about it. You're going to go find people that can help you, or find people that can coach you, or align yourself with a new group of people that will get you to your destination. Because if you sit in your little cubicle for one more year, you're just going to start rotting away. And that is not what you just cannot sit there and let your life rot. while you're sitting in it. It's very depressing. So go find the people that are going to help you get to where you want to be.
I can just feel the pain of that, the inertia, just the feeling of that, feeling chained up inside, but not knowing what to do or how to do something. But that's a great piece of advice. A lot of people are terrified to go get help or to ask other people for help, and I'd imagine for you it must have been a big step then finally asking for and accepting help. But it sounds like you ended up running into people who were really cool and who weren't, making fun and
Right.
being mean and holding you back. So I guess that piece of advice you're saying is just keep looking until you do find the people that are supportive and
Yeah, I mean, try to find people that are going to be a level with you, that aren't going to, try to school you or be your boss. They have to be on a level with you, but understanding that it's a mutually beneficial relationship, I think, is important because, I mean, you got to be careful who you choose. Because but anyway, every situation that goes sideways is just another lesson. So really, you can only learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it's ultimately a failure just sitting there waiting and not expressing what it is you have to bring
Absolutely.
to the world. So that you instantly fail there. So then the trying means at least there's a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the first paycheck I got in the fitness industry for 2 weeks of work was $60. And I'd left my job and I'd done, I had a baby and I had, the $60 paycheck. And I thought at that time, oh my God, what have I done? This is the worst thing I've ever, I left this cushy job, lots of money to get $60 every 2 weeks. But the yearning and the passion was still inside me. So I just pushed forward anyway. And it's done me well. So.
Yeah, well, great work. It's very inspiring, and I look forward to seeing your emails come through each day. And I'm going to send a few folks here to 10,000strong.com also to get on that list, because there are folks, some folks who are listeners, and then also some of their friends and partners who can also benefit. So, guys, if you're listening and you know anybody who's the females in your life who are doing that kind of work, send them on over to 10,000strong.com.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I wish you a great success in all your businesses, and I do look forward to staying in touch, and would love to have you on the show again sometime.
Absolutely.
And maybe we'll get into some stuff about business and life and some of your more recent projects. So again, I thank you very much for coming on the show, for sending out your daily emails, and for doing everything you do. It's extremely inspiring.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Great. Thank you very much, and we will talk again soon.
Okay.
And not a single fuck was given that day.
The fuck is this? The fuck is this? I am confused.
Cow poop. Yes, I definitely stepped in cow poop. I hate nature. It is dangerous to go alone. Take this. Let me tell you why that is bullshit.
Why the fuck not?